Welcome to The Climb. It's a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. As a matter of fact, that's literally what The Climb means, folks. It's an acronym that stands for Creating Leverage in the Music Business. And let me introduce you to my co-host and my partner in crime, Mr. Brent Baxter.
Hello.
Brent's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And what I love is he helps songwriters like you turn pro by teaching the art, craft, and business of songwriting. You can find Brent at manvsrow.com if you've known him for a while, manvsrow.com, or songwritingpro.com. He went through a recent rebranding. We want to make sure we get everybody up under the circus tent so you can see what's going on. How are you, Brent?
I'm doing well. Thank you. And I want to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. It's an innovative artist development company. There are a lot of syllables in that last sentence. So basically what that means is they help you find your sound and they help you find your audience. So not only do they develop and improve your artistry, they also grow and monetize your fan base. Monetize means making money, which means you create some cash flow, which is nice.
That's the best flow.
That's some good stuff. So Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists, including Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. Some good fellas. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production singular, no S. Why? Because there's only one Johnny Dwinell.
That's right. I love it. And there's only one Brent Baxter, man. How are you, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing well.
Oh, I'm excited about today.
Oh.
Because we're talking about song titles.
Yes.
And writing songs. Mm-hmm. And this is like some brilliant insight into how your crazy brain works.
I hope so. It's definitely crazy brain part. Yeah, a lot of times on this podcast, we do a lot of mindset stuff, it feels like. And, on my half of stuff, it's like I want to get an episode where I just do some teaching. And hopefully by the end of it, you get, not just tips about the business and stuff, which is all really valuable and you need that. But I want to balance it out a little bit this week and help you write a better song. Hopefully. That's the plan. So
there we go.
That's right.
There we go.
So this week, the topic is let your title write your song. And, you might have heard some of this in some of my workshops, some stuff you paid to be at. But you know what? We're going to give you a little bit of this nugget for free. Because
there you go.
I like you. You're my peeps. So, yeah. So
he likes you.
He likes you. Do you like me? Do you like me? Like me?
You really like me.
All right. So, yeah. So let your title write your song. So we'll just dive on in. All right. That's what people showed up for. So listen, if you listen closely and patiently, your title will usually tell you what your song should be about. Okay. If you listen, your title's going to talk to you. It's going to say, I'm about this, I'm about that. All right, so it's important to listen to your title because you want your song to be as strong as it can be. And to be strong, everything in the song needs to pull in the same direction. All right? Everything needs to point to the core idea of the song, which is usually expressed in the title. All right, so, usually I do a lot of lists, a lot of listicles. List
number one, number two,
number one, number two. We're not doing that this time. This is just diving into some teaching. All right. So I might throw you a little bit, but it's all right.
And we're also a little extra punchy because it's super late at night and we don't care.
That's right. That's right.
We're here burning the midnight oil for humans.
That's right. So have a little grace. Have a little grace for us. It's okay. I wrote this stuff out ahead of time. All right. So listen, if you don't listen to your title closely enough, all right, you might try to make it something your song is not meant to be. Okay, I can tell you from personal experience that when I try to make a title into the wrong type of song, it is a bear to write. Okay, it gets difficult. Just like a house divided against itself cannot stand, a song divided against itself cannot stand out, at least not in a good way.
Yeah, it's almost like you're trying to put square pegs in a round hole.
Exactly. Your song is at cross purposes. And, it's like, you're trying to pull your buddy's car out of the mud, right? And so you got some guys pulling. You get some chains and you're pulling, and one guy's pulling, this direction and the other guy's pulling the opposite direction. You're not strong.
And the bumpers come off.
You're not pulling in the same direction. You're not going to get that truck out of the mud, right? So we want everything in your song pulling in the same direction so it's strong. All right. So Let me tell you a little story. Gather around, children. Let me tell you a story. One time I had this title called Everything I Want in a Man. And I was thinking of it from a girl's point of view. And it made me chuckle when I first thought of it, because I thought, she has everything I want in a man, because she got the man that I want and all this stuff. And this is before Girl Crush came out, by the way. This is a while back, but a similar idea. And so it made me laugh when I first thought about it. I thought, that's kind of funny. She has everything I want in a man, And so I decided, and I took it into my co-writer and an artist-writer named C.L.I.M.B. McCabe. And, I thought it would be really cool as like a sad Leanne Womack kind of traditional ballad, And so I mentioned it to C.L.I.M.B, the idea. She has everything I want in a man. And C.L.I.M.B, she kind of chuckled too, and we started working on it. And so we started writing like this cool Leanne Womack traditional country ballad thing. And, we got like a verse, and it was slow, and it was like pulling teeth. It was a nice melody that C.L.I.M.B was writing, but it was something wasn't working. Something wasn't working. And so, we shelved it for, that day, and we got together later, and we took another look at it, and we just kind of realized, the title made us smile. I smiled when I thought about it. I mentioned to C.L.I.M.B, and she kind of laughed and chuckled. So why are we trying to turn a title that makes us smile into a song that makes us cry? It doesn't make sense, right? So we decided to try writing it as a fun attitude thing instead. And everything just fell into place. Okay.
It was easy.
Yeah. I mean, once we stopped working against the title and started working with the title, and we listened to it, the writing process got a lot easier and a lot more fun, and the song got a lot better.
Oh, it's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the tumblers on the lock fell into place, and we could just walk right open. And what was interesting about it, too, is we used a lot of the same lyric that we had written for the kind of the ballady version.
Oh, really?
We used a lot of the same lyric.
No way.
Instead of like, she's got a little black dress, got them turning their heads, really sweet and ballady. It became this honky-tonk. She's got a little black dress, got them turning their heads, and, only a lot more melodic because I sing like a horse. But put myself out.
No, but I get it. That's cool.
And so a lot of the same stuff, but it was just sung with a different attitude, and it made sense. Now we ended up changing up, we built off of that into really what we needed. But it got so all that other time wasn't wasted, but it just got so much more easy. It got fun. We popped the locks on it, man. And it just got a lot easier to write and became a better song. We listened to the title. So I'm going to give you another story and an example. All right. So years ago, I found a phrase in a poem that my mom wrote. Okay. The phrase was the poem was about a teacher's day. And she says, at 4:30, I walk outside and the parking lot's as empty as a Monday morning church.
Oh.
I thought,
booyah.
I'm like, ooh, ding. The light bulb in my head. I'm like, oh, Monday morning church. It could be a great title. I wonder what that's about, because I knew I didn't want to write it about a teacher's day. Love my mom. Right. My parents are both retired teachers. I didn't, I'm like, I don't want to write this about a teacher's day. What is this about? And so I started listening to my title. I looked at every word in there. I thought, okay, so, empty. So the phrase, we had the phrase empty as a Monday morning church. So I'm just, woodshedding on. I'm like, empty. Okay, what does that evoke? Empty speaks to me of a sadness, a longing, an ache. It's kind of a negative thing, right? There's an emptiness.
Yeah, dude, I'm so stoked we're talking about Monday morning church right now, by the way.
Thank you. And they're like,
it's been 20 freaking some episodes.
There we go. And
we're digging into this. This is what we need to be digging into. I love this.
So, okay, empty, longing, aching, negative, sad. That's what that's telling me. So I'm listening because I just got this phrase, but I don't have the idea. Remember, a title is just words. A title's not an idea. It's what you make those words mean that makes it a song idea. All right. So I'm like, what are these words going to mean? So I'm like, I ask it, words, what do you mean? Okay. So you got the empty, and then church. All right. So it brings in the spiritual, something serious, something heavy. Okay. So you got empty and church, so you got the spiritual side of it. And those elements, okay, so this, it's not just an emptiness that's, like my key, I lost my keys and my pockets as empty as a Monday morning church. There's this whole spiritual element. So this loss is like a soul deep loss. It is heavy because you're bringing in God and you're bringing all this church spiritual stuff, right? So it's it feels heavy, like there's a gravity, a weight to it. It's a big deal. So it felt to me like it was more than just, my dog ran off and I hope he comes back. It was more than just my girl and I had a fight and we broke up. This felt, bigger even than that. So that's what led me to write a sad country ballad about a grieving man who was having a crisis of faith following his wife's death. All right. So, and I got that from listening to it's a loss that is hitting him on a soul deep level. It has spiritual implications. What is that about? And that's what led me to, okay, this guy's wife died and he's having a crisis of faith. Okay. Yeah. So he's empty on a spiritual level. And so, and that whole song came from listening to the title. The whole idea did. And thankfully it went on to become my first hit and a top 5 single for Alan Jackson. I'm really glad I listened to that title. And
dug in and put the time into it to just think about it, and to dig into that.
Yeah.
Like just with titles, right? Like with my blog articles, I'll write 25 titles at least before I get to the good, you know what I mean? Because you're digging in to try to, and I'm rearranging the same words because I know what I want the title to be about.
Right.
But I'm trying to find like the most impact or whatever. So, I think that's just such a good exercise as a corollary, as a little side note, little value bomb. But for just an exercise of getting deep down into the meaning of a set of words, one set of words, and an exercise that will, because it's one thing to say, we need to think more about these words. Right. And it's another thing to say, here's a tool to help you do it. Right. So I love this.
So, one way to do that is you got your words. It's a title, but it's not your idea yet. Or maybe you think you got the idea, but stop, listen to it, make sure that's what it's telling you, is to do like the word bubble thing. So like Monday morning church. Okay, or empty as a Monday morning church. I'm, circling empty, and then I'm doing, listing, off to the side. What does that say? It loss, ache, lonely, hurting, sad, so I'm clustering these word bubbles around empty. So then I'm like, okay, church, God, spirit, faith, doubt.
Sure.
Okay, what are all these words that can go around this word bubble of church? And, the Monday morning supported how empty the church is, because church is empty on Monday morning. So those are the big power words in that phrase, are empty in church. And then, you look for clues and go, what is this? What is the picture? These are clues to what my song should be about. And because, again, a title is not an idea. A title is just words. It's what you make those words mean that becomes your idea. And a lot of times a title first writer. I'll get a phrase, some words, a word that I think is cool. What is it about? What is it about? There's a song.
Is it the way Let's Fight came around?
It might have been. I'm trying to remember how we did that one, but it was one of those where it's such an open title that you have to go, what's the coolest thing this could be about? Let's fight, barroom brawl. Let's fight because I'm angry at you, girl. So let's have it out finally. Let's fight together through this conflict.
To make our love stronger.
Oh, that's so more interesting.
Not only is it that twist, but then the song's a ballad too, and you're like, just so clever.
Thank you. So listen to your titles, okay? And I love thinking about how many ways could this word be spun? So the let's fight each other, fight other people, fight for each other. You start thinking about these different ways it could be used. And then you can pull together maybe a coherent, strong, interesting idea out of that. There's another song I wrote with Byron Hill. Byron's a great writer. I wrote the Gord Bamford #1 with him, When Your Lips Are So Close. But he's had huge hits, Full Heart of Memory, George Strait's first #1, Born Country for Alabama. He's like some classics. So I was blessed to write with him. And so I was doing my homework, right, because I get an opportunity to write with Byron Hill. I want to make the most of it.
You want to step up. Yeah.
I'm honored to be in the room. I want to bring my A game. So I had this title, Over a Drink. And I thought, that sometimes you just hear a title and you're like, that's got some juice to it. What is that? There's something there. I'm going to go digging for the gold and the platinum and them Bar Hills, right? And so I started listing out different what what ways can the phrase over a drink mean? How can I play out this? It's like almost like a gemstone, and you're holding up to the light and you're seeing all the different light refractions off of it. All the way the different angles the light bounces off it. So I'm like, over a drink. They met, and they had their first date over a drink. They laughed and fell in love over a drink. He's drinking too much and he's staring at her with bloodshot eyes over a drink. He'll never choose her over a drink. They broke up over a drink, and all these different things. You're like, oh, there's so many things to play with. And, getting all these different angles and developing the story around it. And we did. We told the story about, there was a blind date. She's like, oh, this, they never work out. But next thing you know, they're laughing and carrying on over a drink, over a bottle of wine, falling deeper and deeper, one glass at a time. Looking back now, she can hardly believe she fell in love with him over a drink. And then it moves on, and, the story progresses, and they're together, but he's drinking too much. And now he's staring at her with bloodshot eyes over a drink, over a bottle of wine, falling deeper and deeper, one glass at a time. He's falling deeper. And looking back now, she can hardly believe she fell in love with him over a drink. And at the end of it, she leaves.
The same words.
Same words. Yeah.
Absolutely something profoundly different.
You're holding it up, same diamond, you're holding up to different lights, right? And then at the end, she leaves him because she knows he'll never choose her over a drink, over a bottle of wine. A sad song. But, it was taking that title and going, okay, what does it tell me? What does it tell me? What is it telling me? And holding it and writing it down, listening, go, what are the different ways we can play off this phrase? It could have just been a fun party song, which might have made more money if it just been like we were having a good time over a drink. But I wanted to go deeper and really dig for something that'd be really cool and find a cool, unique thing. Another example, one I didn't write, so it is one you've heard, is Must Be Doing Something Right, written by Jason Matthews and Marty Dotson, and recorded, taken to #1 by Billy Currington. So big hit for Billy. So let's listen to this title. And I don't know how those guys wrote that. They may have had the idea first and they slapped the title on it, or I'm just going to assume they had the title first, okay, for the sake of this exercise. And let's listen to the title. Okay, so just the overall was, it must be doing something right. Okay, you're doing something right. So it's positive. I'm not doing something wrong. I'm doing something right. So this is feeling positive, right? I'm getting a positive vibe because I'm doing something right, not wrong. Must be. So he's definitely, all right, he's getting some sort of feedback that's telling him he's doing something right. Okay, he's getting some sort of feedback. And then to make him think, there's a reason he's thinking I must be doing something right. Something's happening good for him. But then something, well, he's not very specific on what it is.
Well, I'm not saying something right. I'm behaving right. I'm
doing something. It's the question of something. He didn't know exactly what he's doing right. But I must be doing something right. Like, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm doing it right. And so when you listen to that song, the whole thing's about, this woman is a mystery. Sometimes, you got to do everything in the world to please her. Sometimes all it takes is a touch of your hand, and must be doing something right. Because I just heard you sigh, leaning for a kiss and all this stuff. And it's this positive love song about this guy. He doesn't know exactly what he's doing to earn her love, but he must be doing something right. And which is cool. It's, it's emotional. It's real. Guys can feel that way. Like, I don't know why, but she digs me. But
it's a little self-deprecating. It's vulnerable in a sense.
He's not being cocky or anything, but everything. It's like they listen to those words and they listen to their title and let that title write that song. And it's like, I must be doing something right, even though I don't know exactly what it is. That thought is all over that song. Okay.
Yeah.
The thought that a woman's a mystery and different things please her at different times. And even the line, I think it's in the chorus, don't know what I did to earn a love like this, but I must be doing something right. Mm-hmm. Don't know what I did to earn a love like, bless you, is often like a throwaway or a filler line, or a thought in a generic love song. Don't know what I did to earn this love. Could be thrown in as a filler line in a normal love song, right? Because it doesn't mean much. But in this song, it's right on point. It totally supports the idea of that hook. I don't know what I did must be doing something right. Don't know what I did during our love, but I must be doing something right. So even a line that normally could be kind of a cliche line or a throwaway, in this context, because it totally supports that hook, is a great line. It
makes it super important.
It's an important line. It's the right line, because they listen to that title, and everything is pointing. The title, the words gave them the idea, and everything points at that idea. So those guys ought to think about writing songs for a living. They did.
they're good. They're good. They're good. Well, man, that is killer, dude. It's fun to get into the way that you can look at the subject of the song and you can kaleidoscope it, and you can kind of spin around the outside of it and take all these different angles and see which one sort of raises the ears, raises the eyebrows the most. Which one will sort of go make you, wait, what? What's he talking about? Hold on.
Yeah, and because we make choices as writers. I mean, we should be, whether we're doing it consciously or not, we're making choices about how to write it. And, man, this stuff is competitive. I'm competing against, like, Jason Matthews and Marty Dodson to get my song on the Billy Currington record.
And so are you out there in podcast land.
If you want to get a song,
that's the thing.
Yeah, if you want to get a song on the Billy Currington record, you're competing against me and Jason Matthews and Marty Dodson and everybody else, right? Craig Wiseman. Everybody.
And they all want to win.
We all want to win, right? So, taking every little thing you can do to give your song that edge, that advantage, to make it more unique. And that's a wonderful thing about it. If you really listen to your title, and if it's more of a unique title, if it's, you're going to build a more unique song, a more unique idea, and then everything's aiming at that, the whole song's going to have a little different flavor. Like Monday Morning Church, because I listened to it, I didn't just make it like a generic, I lost my girl said goodbye, I'm heartbroken, now my heart's as empty as a Monday Morning Church. It would have been a kind of normal song with a cool title. Mm-hmm. Okay. But letting the title inform the idea, which informs every line in that lyric, it gave it all a uniqueness. It gave it all a certain flavor that's not the generic vanilla. It gave it something different. Now, you may like it, you might not like it, but if you pick a good title and let that inform everything, it's going to give your song more of a unique flavor all the way through, which is important. You want your song to stand out in a good way.
Yeah, and it becomes more meaningful to the soundtrack of our lives, I mean, because there's more meat on that bone.
And, man, I get disappointed sometimes. I'll see a cool title. I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do with that. And they just kind of tacked on to the same thing we've heard all over. I'm like, man, you can tell.
What a waste of a good title.
Tack that title on to the end.
Like when you see a douchebag driving a Ferrari, like, what a waste of a good sports car.
Exactly. It's like that could have been any other title. That drives me nuts when it's like, oh, you could, if you'd built around that, you could have written something pretty different. So
spend 5 more minutes thinking about it.
Oh, or an hour.
And asking the right questions.
Or an hour. Don't be afraid to think about it for an hour or two. It's worth it.
Instead of how do we get out of this session and write this song fast, what if you try to do it good?
Right. Yeah. And sometimes that's the danger of, if you start melody first, which I'm all for that. But going, it feels good now. Oh, what are we slapping on the end here? I tend to go title first. And either way is fine. All that matters is the end result. No one cares how you wrote it unless it becomes a hit. Then they want to know how, and that's cool. But,
and that's colorful.
Yeah, exactly. But, man, every word in your title, think about them, pay attention to it, listen to your title, and your song will probably end up being better for it.
And you know what? Go back on some of the songs you've written and go through that exercise and see if anything happens. What do you got to lose, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You get to lose. So with that, listen, we could talk about something real important again one more time here. I'm going to talk about Brent. I want to talk about his wife, Emily.
Hey, be careful now.
Hey. It was allegedly. No, okay. These two people, man, just people of faith, great character. And, you see all the work we're trying to do here on our blogs, on the podcast. We're out to help people. And Brent and Emily are blessed with 2 of their own children. And it's, right there, awesome, right? That's a boy and a girl. And how awesome could that be? And they're like, we want to have some more kids. But then we're going to help some more kids. So they're adopting 2 kids from China, orphans. And it's expensive. So the month of August, we're not asking for donations.
Nope.
But Brent's got a lot of fantastic material to give away. Right? We've got ebooks. Yep. We've got training sessions. There's T-shirts, adoption T-shirts that, because we wouldn't ask for anything for free. But hey, if you've been on the fence and you've been thinking about getting some help from Brent, improving your songwriting, and there's just one more, instead of 10, it goes to 11. One more push over the edge that would say, you know what, if this money would also go towards helping a couple kids in China find like the best parents on the planet they could possibly have, this is it. This is your moment. This is what you want to do. So go to songwritingpro.com. It's the store, right, Brent?
Yeah, there's a tab for the store, and you can go click on it. And yeah, for the whole month of August, I'm calling it Adoption August, for the whole month. Yeah, everything, 100%, everything that, we get from that is going right to China. It's going right to the adoption expenses to bring our boys.
And Emily's already been over there to see the kids. Yeah,
it was really cool. She got to do that. She got to go on a mission trip and meet the boys that we're bringing in. And that's not why she went, but it was just a bonus blessing that she got to meet them. And she got to ask Ren, who's the older one. He's by the time y'all are hearing this, he's probably already turned 13. He's been in the orphanage pretty much his whole life, once a family. And she got to ask him through a translator, do you want to come to America and be part of our family? Yeah, he nodded yes, and then he didn't really know what to do, so he kind of ran off. He got excited. He didn't really know how to respond to that. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then she was still feeling, and we were still feeling maybe there's a second child that we're supposed to bring home too, and we weren't sure. And Emily thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna ask Ren what he thinks. If there's someone he could take with him, who would you want to take? And the answer wasn't a surprise because she'd been with him for a couple of days. And it's his best friend, a boy named Quill, that we're naming Quill. And he's 6 years old. He's been in the orphanage his whole life, too. They're best buddies. And, we're like, yeah. Well, he's like, I'm going to take my brother. I was like, well, he's going to be your brother. And so
that's great, man. So you guys can get some killer songwriting training. You can get some impact on the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting from somebody who's been doing it, who's had some success with it, who is busting his butt every week to give this to you for free. And you can get that information, pay a little bit of money for it, and you got this added bonus. You're going to be helping a couple kids find a really great home. So if you've been kind of waiting for the right moment to do it, now's your chance to do it, because in August, everything is going to go towards, that's when the bills are due, which is why we're doing it in August. And it's all going to go towards bringing those 2 kids here. So make a big dent in the universe and help yourself out at the same time. I mean, that's called a win-win.
There we
right?
go. I always want to add value. I don't want to just ask for donations. I want to give y'all something. I want y'all to get something good from it. So.
Right on, man. Well, Brent, man, once again, thanks for a great podcast. And we hope you guys, you keep pushing. Don't give up. It's the best time to be in the music industry right now. And we just want to tell you, keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.